Captioning is brought to you by IT&E Life in Motion. KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust. Serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson Navigation, serving Guam and Micronesia for 20 years. Cars Plus, Dodge Challenger, the undisputed champion. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dedito. Always open, always local.
Highway Patrol launches another investigation into a motorcycle fatality, the latest one up in Jigo. Plus, we give you a rare look inside the prison as K-9 units conduct a sweep of Post 5. And details from Day 5 of trial for a man accused of killing his mother. Half a day, everybody, and good evening. If you're watching us live on KUAM TV8 or streaming us at the same time on Facebook Live or Instagram Live, we appreciate you tuning in tonight. Well, after an ethics complaint was filed 4 months prior against Republican Senator Jim Espaldon, a committee tasked to investigate has now issued its recommendation. It finds an ethical violation by the policymaker.
Valerie Maige has more on our top story.
The Committee on Ethics is recommending Senator Jim Espaldon is removed from leadership positions for the remainder of the legislative term. A release from the committee several minutes ago states they have found him in violation of the Code of Ethics and Standards, which states a member or staff employee of the legislature shall conduct the person's life, both public and private, so as to bring honor and respect to the person's office. Espaldon responded in a statement saying, quote, "The Ethics Committee considered 4 potential ethics charges against me, so I am gratified that 3 charges were dismissed and they found only 1 ethical violation. The ethics complaint has been an ordeal for me, my family, and the people of Guam, and I am sorry that I have caused them any pain or embarrassment. I have learned some hard lessons from this experience. I hold my position as senator to be a matter of public trust, and I have always attempted to live up to that trust. Since this matter will now go before the full legislative body for a final resolution, I expect an open, fair, and honest discussion of the charge against me." End quote. CNMI Representative Edwin Probst, who filed the complaint, says, quote, "I'm grateful to the Senate for the committee led by Senator Estevez for the work he did. It was in their hands, and I have faith in the system. I am glad there is some sort of penalty." End quote. Espaldon was under investigation for his alleged involvement in a generator deal between the Commonwealth Utilities Corporation in the Northern Mariana Islands and a company with connections to one of Espaldon's legislative staffers. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Valerie Maige.
All records related to the investigation have been forwarded to the Speaker's office. The ultimate decision, however, rests with the body. Espaldon is the legislative minority leader.
Now, like most of you, our day began with tragic news after a motorcyclist involved in a serious crash in Jigo on Monday evening passed away.
We brought you that live report last night on our social media. It happened around 9:15 p.m. along Route 1 in Jigo. Police say the drivers of both a Toyota RAV4 and a Yamaha Route R1 was traveling north on the inner lane by the Pacific Supermarket when the crash occurred.
KUAM News did speak with the 49-year-old male driver of the RAV4 who wished to remain anonymous. Now, he said that he and a female friend were heading up to Jigo after visiting his mom in Laddie Heights. He said as he was driving, he heard a motorcycle winding down behind him. The motorcycle then suddenly crashed into his car from behind, landed on top of his car, crashed down on his windshield, and then landed in front of his vehicle. He said the motorcyclist, a male, was found further down the road behind him.
The victim was rushed to GRMC where he was pronounced dead at 10:21 p.m. Police say it appears that he was not wearing a helmet and he has not yet been identified. Guam Highway Patrol is investigating.
Now the big news, Ian, you watched us live on Facebook today as we gave you a look inside the prison at the Department of Corrections. And today, that very agency's leaders responded to the rash of contraband recently found at the compound in Mingilo.
KUAM's Nick Delgado has more on the prison's efforts to put a stop to the smuggling of drugs and other banned items.
Block by block, Guam Customs K-9s rove the halls of the Post 5 unit at the Department of Corrections, sniffing out the drains and cell blocks for hidden contraband.
We are taking the necessary steps to ensure that this department is going to rid itself of contraband.
The department in recent days getting back-to-back findings.
And it's inspections just like those that the Department of Corrections is looking to increase, doing at least a handful every single day.
Though nothing was found during this public inspection, DepCorp Warden Alan Borja says the reality is inmates will do whatever possible to sneak in drugs and other items not allowed.
They want to try and make life a lot easier for them in here, so again, it's going to be a never-ending battle.
It's a battle the administration is getting involved in as DOC executes Operation Green Vigilance.
We're not having other people clean our house for us. We are cleaning our own house.
A cleaning house effort they say won't include their federal counterparts. Leaders today outlining plans to stop contraband from getting in. First, DOC will install 18 additional cameras, plus a system that will capture the license plates of all cars that pass by in the event contraband is found thrown over the fence. They are minimizing the hours for vendor deliveries and visitations as well. Officials are also discussing the possibility of visitors changing into issued garments, but no word when that would begin. The prison is also working to develop its own K9 unit, plus working with lawmakers on a request for proposal to start up a commissary so visitors will no longer be allowed to bring in snacks and other items. DOC Director Tony Lamarena responds to the recent findings.
We don't look at it as failure. We look at it as a success.
KUAM also spoke with the former head of the Prisons Internal Affairs, Ted Lewis, about the changes.
Is it going to be enough?
Those things should have been done a long time ago. I mean, what needs to happen is exactly what Lieutenant Governor said, and they need to go up instead of out. And they need to have a more secure facility and make it look part of the community.
This effort also follows last month's arrest of several officers involved in an alleged scheme to smuggle drugs and contraband inside. Officials today also confirming there has been a total of 8 DOC officers who have resigned and retired in recent weeks, in part to the implementation of Green Vigilance. For now, corrections officers hope their efforts will result in this.
They come to me and they say, we don't tolerate what has happened. And we want to regain our trust and reputation with the community.
Trust so they can get back to doing what they can to protect the community. Reporting for Guam's News Network, Guahusi Nick Delgado.
Now, Nick also adds that Lamarena says he should have the final adverse action against the officers accused by the end of the week, adding it may include extending their administrative leave but be without pay. Now, you can watch that coverage, which was live, of today's press conference and the prison walkthrough. Riveting stuff. Check out our Facebook page, facebook.com/KUAM News.
He was the only corrections officer fired following an extensive internal affairs investigation into the brutal beating of Post 6 detainee Justin Meno. Now, former corrections officer Benjamin Urquizu is looking to have his termination appeal before the Civil Service Commission thrown out. KUAM obtained a copy of the stipulation agreement that states the commission would dismiss the adverse appeal with prejudice. Instead of a termination, he would also agree to resign as a corrections officer 1 and get $8,000 as settlement of his claim. In turn, DOC management is rescinding the adverse action taken against him and accepting his resignation dating back to May 19th of this year. As reported, DepCorp let him go, citing failure to perform his duties the day of the attack. However, Urquizu argued he did everything he could to help Meno that day. A signing for the judgment of dismissal is set for Thursday evening before the commission.
Sabrina, 2 corrections officers that tested positive over the summer for using crystal meth are no longer with that agency. The aforementioned Tony Lamarena confirms with KUAM News that one of the officers was fired and a second, who evidently challenged the positive test results, was retested but failed again. Lamarena says that officer has since resigned. We've learned the ousted corrections officers are Joshua and Irvin Mafnas. DepCorp officials say there's zero tolerance when it comes to officers using and abusing.
These officers knew coming into DOC that by them using drugs, it would risk their career at DOC.
The pair were part of a recent department-wide drug test conducted on prison employees.
He remains stripped of his badge and gun. Now the former police colonel is scheduled to face a Superior Court jury early next year. Trial has been set for former GPD Colonel Mark Charfris. Last year, he was captured on police body camera footage yelling at junior officers who were responding to a report of fireworks at an Agate home. Charfris faces 3 misdemeanor charges for official misconduct and obstructing governmental functions. Though he's won his demotion appeal before the CSC, the commission won't hear his termination appeal until there's closure on his court case. Trial is scheduled to start on February 14th of 2018.
Now, the results of random drug tests of a majority of employees at the Port Authority of Guam may be released as early as next week. GM Joanne Brown says she would not respond to questions about any possible positive results for the time being, saying only the testing has been going on for the past 2 months. In some cases, she says, it is possible that an employee's medication may impact the results, and so they're still waiting on certain official confirmations from the lab contractor. Yet Brown says the agency has a zero-tolerance policy once again, and that violators will be served with adverse action.
Did defendant Alan Acababa plot to kill his mother? It may appear that way according to testimony heard in day 5 of the aggravated murder trial. On the stand, individuals report having conversations with Acababa about guns and deadly chemicals.
It's our next report with our Crystal Paco.
The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Bobby Hall Guerrero worked briefly with Alan Acababa at a furniture store. That's when he alleges the defendant solicited lethal items from him.
He had actually said he was having an inheritance issue that he had to deal with, and asked me if I knew where he could get a gun with a silencer or possibly some chemicals.
In their short meeting, Guerrero disclosed that he'd done time in Georgia on a burglary conviction. This may have encouraged Acababa to seek out Guerrero's help.
Then he told me that he would offer me $4,000 to get them myself.
It's a lot of money.
It is.
Did you take it?
No.
Acababa allegedly gave Guerrero a handwritten list of 4 to 5 chemicals, the most memorable of which was anthrax. Guerrero reported the suspicious request to Homeland Security and the FBI, but nothing ever became of it. In August 2013, Acababa's mother, Shelley Bernstein, was found dead in her Tamuning apartment. Though she appeared to have been shot just above her eye, an autopsy revealed she died from blunt force trauma to the head. The manner of death was ruled a homicide. According to Leha Robinson, she too had an unsettling meeting with Acababa. Acababa had been friends with her now ex-husband Randall Fulcher, who is anticipated to testify later in trial.
She just told me that Alan told him that he killed his mom.
If Bernstein was killed by the hands of another, no murder weapon was ever recovered. Robinson explains that shortly after meeting with Acababa, she and Fulcher drove to Elig Bridge in Jutnia with a bag.
And once you're there, you're parked, what does Mr. Fulcher do?
Gets out of the car and I don't know.
Where's the bag?
He took it with him.
Okay. Where did he go?
I don't know. I was looking down at my phone.
Had the victim died of natural causes, former United Airlines Health and Wellness Benefits Administrator Norma Yoshida testified Bernstein's beneficiaries would have received hundreds of thousands of dollars in basic and supplemental life insurance, personal and supplemental accident plans, and 401k retirement.
Can you tell us what the total possible payout from all of these benefits that you listed off for us today would have been if Shelley had died of natural causes?
Between $700,000 and $800,000.
And of all that, how much would have gone to the defendant?
She had equally split up all of the benefits, so he would have gotten half of whatever Shelley would have been paid out.
And have these benefits been paid out?
To my knowledge, I'm not sure. I don't think so.
According to the government's case-in-chief, Acababa killed his mother to collect her death benefits. Though his brother Dusty was also listed as a beneficiary, Acababa was the only individual arrested and charged with aggravated murder. When he was first tried 3 years ago, a jury failed to reach a unanimous decision, rendering a mistrial. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Crystal Paco.
Well, jury trial has been delayed again for former Gura attorney Mark Smith and his co-defendant Glenn Wong. As of Tuesday, both prosecution and defense alike filed a motion for mistrial in addition to prosecution's motion for reconsideration. All 3 motions are related to defense attorney David Lujan's past position as former Gura legal counsel and a Section 8 landlord, and whether this fact should be presented to jurors. The trial was anticipated to resume Tuesday morning. The jury was dismissed for the day to allow parties time to respond to motions. Smith, while serving as legal counsel for Gura, was a Section 8 landlord alleged to have transferred his properties to Wong in a scheme to conceal the conflict of interest from the feds. A hearing on the motions is set for Thursday.
They initially hoped to start mediation talks for dozens of clergy sex abuse cases in late October, but that's just too soon. This according to a recent filing by Archdiocese of Vigaña attorney John Terlahi and plaintiff's attorney David Lujan, who advised the court a March 2018 timeframe is more realistic. As to who will be their mediator, though they initially agreed on Oregon-based retired federal judge Michael Hogan, the court proposed using Judge Alex Munson. Parties state they will advise the court on their choice mediator by the 26th.
Well, please do stick around, everybody. There is much more news coming up. You're watching Prime Time right here on KUAM.
There are more ways to experience KUAM News than any other source on Guam. Download the KUAM News app for your Apple or Android device for 24/7 news, sports, videos, weather, streaming of KUAM radio, and important news alerts. And stay connected at home with Guam's first app for Apple TV. All available now from the App Store.
When we face an uncertain path, when we struggle with life's challenges, and when the unexpected happens, it's a beautiful day. We rely on the people we trust, it's a beautiful, who we can always count on. And to the ones who give us the most care throughout the years. Rely on Calvo's Select Care to give you the comfort and security you need wherever you are. Gov Guam employees, retirees, and survivors, enroll today.
Activate a new account at IT&E and get double data on the network that gives you more.
For 20 years, Matson has been an important part of our everyday lives. Bringing in the cars we drive, the food we eat, and the materials that helped build our homes. From caring for our land through the Adahi Itanu program to generously supporting our local charities, Matson has contributed to the preservation and growth of our island. On behalf of those you've served throughout your 20 years on Guam, Kidza Smaasi Matson.
The Cheers Guam Series presents the largest wine event of the year, WineFest 2017. Enjoy an evening with over 150 wines from around the world on Friday, October 6th, as the Hyatt Regency Ballroom transforms into an international wine extravaganza. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. General admission tickets are $66 and are available at the Hyatt Deli and all 76 Circle K locations. Super premium tickets are $180 and are available at the Hyatt Deli. Purchase your tickets today. Must be 21 years or older to attend. Savor the wines of the world at WineFest 2017. Connect with KUAM News. Find us on your favorite social media platform. Follow us and stay in the know with Guam's news leader.
Welcome back, everybody. Another protest has been filed in the continually delayed procurement effort to rebuild the home of the Sharks at Simon Sanchez High School in Jigo. According to Senator Tom Atta, DPW issued a stay for their procurement Monday, although the protests had been filed by bidder Cortec International earlier this month.
Now it is up to DPW to determine whether the protest that was filed by Cortec has merit. And if it does have merit, then of course the protest, the stay will stay in effect until the problem has been rectified.
Atta says the issue of contention is relative to contractual documents bidders are expected to work within and whether enough information was provided in the solicitation package. If the protest is appealed, like it has been done before by CTI, the procurement could be delayed for an additional 2 months.
It has been 5 years in the making, and this week a new curriculum is being rolled out that aims to more effectively work with Chuukese and Chamorro communities. The focus is on their personal well-being and sexuality. It's all an effort to reduce the risk of STDs and HIV on island. Isa Baza has the story.
Cultural barriers erased. That's the goal of the new curriculum entitled Navigating Personal Wellbeing and Sexuality, a facilitator's guide for working with Chuukese and Chamorro communities. Contributor Francine Napati.
What this curriculum does is it just gives us kind of this way to connect with our kids. Because one thing that we find, especially with education, is that it's especially important to kind of center the child in a culture that makes sense for them.
The curriculum focuses on everything from sex ed to personal well-being, issues she says have been discussed with young adults dating back to traditional Chamorro and Chucky societies.
So when they went through the process of the Guma Urital, what happened is that a lot of the time our young men and women would come out of that house much more mature and ready to engage in these relationships. And so that's something Juan was even talking about in Chucky's culture. When the men would go in for their training, they were very deliberate in making sure that they placed emphasis on the pleasure of their partners as well as a way to develop these intimate relationships.
Co-author Lisa Linda Natividad said the mission is leave a positive mark on public health.
The end goal really is to reduce in our communities HIV and AIDS as well as STD rates and incidences. In addition, of course, we want to see a reduction of issues of family violence as well as drugs and alcohol and suicide in our communities.
The curriculum was published by the University of Guam Press last month, with roughly 5,000 participant workbooks now available.
You can get copies of the curriculum which are free. You can order participant workbooks there as well, and they can also give you contact information in case you need the authors to train.
The curriculum will be used at various organizations throughout the island, including the Guam Department of Education. To learn more, you can contact UOG Press. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Isa Baza.
Well, in other news, the Commission on Chamorro Language and the Teaching of History and Culture of the Indigenous People of Guam, say that 3 times fast, met this morning to discuss the development of a strategic plan for the next 4 years. The strategy will outline the organization's 15 goals based on the mandates of the Chamorro Heritage Commission Act of 2016. Member Laura Souter.
This creates for us a blueprint that allows us to have some very specific actions, activities, deliverables that we will work toward accomplishing. Our mission is quite broad, as anyone who has looked at the law will discover.
Some of the Commission's 15 objectives include updating the Chamorro English Dictionary, developing standardized curriculum for Guam history, language, and culture at local schools, studying ancient Chamorro terminology, and serving as the Guam Place Name Commission. The strategic planning session is set for next Thursday.
A bill that seeks to establish a rate review on health insurance premiums and a medical loss ratio formula went up for a public hearing today. Senator Dennis Rodriguez's Bill 131 received testimony from both sides. John Carlos is a retired insurance regulator and customer advocate. He supports the bill.
Wait.
No matter what happens, if it is approved by the legislature, will enable the Guam Insurance Commissioner to regulate only rates that are in some circumstances excessive.
Rodriguez says 131 is just one of several bills that hopes to expand access to insurance coverage to the people.
A bill to authorize the port to borrow up to $80 million in bond money underwent a lengthy public hearing on Tuesday. Port officials testified in support of various capital improvement projects to be funded by the bond proceeds. They include the renovation and repair of Hotel Wharf, Gulf Pier, a maintenance building, and a warehouse. There's also a multi-million-dollar proposal to build a new port administration building. The port does argue that the current office is half a century old, dilapidated, and not fully ADA compliant. Bill sponsor Senator Frank Cook Jr. sums up the issue.
50 plus years old. Do we want to pay $17.5 million today based on the initial presentation, or do we want to pay significantly more in 5 or 10 years from today? Because we know that that particular structure is certainly in need of being replaced.
The measure also allows the port to refund more than $20 million in existing debt to make the financing plan work. The bond debt service would be paid by port revenues. A tariff increase was approved this past June.
The Marines are getting a new $18 million headquarters building at Apra Harbor on Naval Base Guam. The Navy says the fully capable waterfront facility is essential for the Marines to effectively execute amphibious operations. The project will be funded by the Japanese government. Japan is committed to pay about $3 billion of the estimated $8.5 billion cost to relocate 5,000 Marines from Okinawa to Guam. Virginia-based contractor Watts was awarded the contract.
Well, please stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back right after this.
From the network that brought you up to 3 times more data comes the dawn of a new data. The epic story of Guam's only network brave enough to give 10 free gigs of bonus data on every line every month to customers who bundle their services. Reviewers are calling the offer totes awesome. Best deal ever. And yes.
Visit GTA.net for details.
The Cheers Guam Series presents the largest wine event of the year, WineFest 2017. Enjoy an evening with over 150 wines from around the world on Friday, October 6th, as the Hyatt Regency Ballroom transforms into an international wine extravaganza. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. General admission tickets are $66 and are available at the Hyatt Deli and all 76 Circle K locations. Super premium tickets are $180 and are available at the Hyatt Deli. Purchase your tickets today. Must be 21 years or older to attend. Savor the wines of the world at WineFest 2017.
Why is tourism Guam's #1 industry? Tourism benefits our economy. Visitors come to our shores to experience our island. More tourist spending means more dollars flowing into our economy. Tourism creates jobs. From bell service to front desk to tour agents, more jobs mean more opportunities. Tourism builds businesses, from hotels to shops to restaurants. More businesses mean more dreams come true. Tourism preserves our culture. In the visitor industry, culture takes center stage. Celebrating our culture means keeping our traditions alive. Tourism keeps our land and waters clean. It all adds up. Tourism improves our quality of life. It helps make Guam a better place to live, work, and visit. Tourism works for Guam.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
Mates, whoa! Half a day, Marianas, Guausi, Chris. KUAM Sports proudly brought to you by Triple J. A whole bunch of Guam-based athletes heading off to Turkmenistan. It's the loveliest of the stands. I got a special shout out going out to Rhino Boy, Isaiah. Good luck with your wrestling, okay? And tonight we focus on Guam's 3-on-3 basketball contingent. Guam basketball in Turkmenistan, now representing the island at the 2017 Asian Indo Games. Guam sending 2 teams to the indoor games, which feature a highly competitive FIBA rules 3-on-3 basketball tournament. Representing Guam on the women's side, Lindsey Wilson, Darren Stinnett, and high schoolers Mia St-Nicholas and Rosita Duenas. With St-Nicholas and Wilson anchoring the post, look for Stinnett and Duenas to sharpshoot and ball handle as Guam faces Indonesia and Thailand on Friday. The men's team strong at all positions with Joe Blas and Darren Hechanova expected to cause matchup problems off the dribble. Sevi Susuiko mans the post and drains Jays, with veteran player coach Jin Han providing gritty D and experience. The men face Chinese Taipei, Indonesia, and Thailand in Pool D as they continue to rise in the FIBA 3-on-3 rankings. As reported here on KUAM Sports, the men finished third in the 2016 FIBA Regional 3-on-3 tournament, and Team Guam dominating a local 3-on-3 affair earlier this year. Now that 3-on-3 hoops is an Olympic sport, Guam may be able to secure a spot with tough defense and skills. For more, follow the Guam Basketball Confederation on Facebook and Instagram for info and updates. Shirley's Basketball League to Tamuning. We go. ST Corp taking on Bank of Guam. Blas inbound. Joy to the world to Joy Peter, who passes it back to Blas. Alley-oop. Mike Bork missing the deuce here. C gets the board for Bank of Guam. Passing it to John Baza, who makes the clean 3. So clean, it's dirty. After the shot, ST recovering, pushing on the aggressive Ed. Baza tries to go for 3, but misses the rim. C getting another board. And it's back to Baza, Padloum Biahi, who scores another 3. ST Corp winning the match 64-47. Bank of Guam finding themselves out over the weekend. A kickoff of the Triple J Auto Group Robbie Weber Youth Soccer League Fall 2017 season. At the GFA Fields here in Huttman, over 150 teams from the under 6 and under 18 divisions participating, with close to 1,500 total kids coming out, playing soccer and scoring goals. Aww. Great family fun event, getting the kids more involved in football and doing a thing called playing outside. The event featuring various activities for prizes and also complimentary Mungie Pops. Wow. More games to come. Full schedule online, guamfa.com.